Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another Batman Miniature Game 3rd Edition Battle Report. Today we have a 350 rep match between the Soldiers of Fortune and the Black Mask led organised crime crew on the table that you can see before you. Hope you're looking forward to it. And with that, let's just take a look at the specifics for both sides. So in the yellow and black marked corner this week, we have the Soldiers of Fortune list being led by the huge, fantastically sculpted Bane Unleashed. He's going to be carting Batman around the table, just showing him off. Look what I broke, do you want a piece? Being followed by his trusty Lieutenant Bird, then being joined by Mercenaries 1 and 2. The one with the pistol at the back there has an extra magazine. Infiltrate up there because she's just far too good, and she has a backpack for a free removal of a suspect marker in base to base. And then to fill out the extra points, got the old militia soldier with the 5-shot single blood carbine, and he also has an extra magazine. Nothing much else. Obviously it's hard to get a lot of models in a Bane led list because he's so chunky points wise, but he usually makes back his points as long as he gets to smash something every turn. And here is the Black Mask organised crime crew, and the man himself has brought the psychotic upgrade for 50 funding, giving him access to protect me, just to offer him a little bit of protection. His lieutenant, second in command, Alexandra Kosov, is here. She makes extra ammo purchases cheaper by 50%, I think, and she creates a lieutenant bubble for Inspire, so they can cover a lot of ground. We have Victor Zsasz as the free agent. He has Shadowed Nightmare, so he won't be on the table to start with. He'll come in off the placement of a suspect marker. And then we have an assorted array of Black Mask thugs. Let's see, I'm going to cheat and see which is which. This is Black Mask Thug 1, cheap and cheerful, none to see here. The one with the sniper is Black Mask Thug 2, he's got a silencer, making him very dangerous. Black Mask Thug 3, guy with a pistol, which he can use, what's it called, discharge to fire a lot of. He's got extra ammo for that. Then we have Black Mask Thug 4, it's the guy with the sledgehammer, again kind of just cheap and cheerful. And finally one of the bonus thugs, they got Black Mask Thug 7, this guy here with the weird looking metal mask. He has extra ammo as well, and they're in Team Red this week. So we are set up and good to go. The Soldiers of Fortune are deployed to your right and are taking first activation unless they opt to use one of their two passes. The organised crime crew are to your left. Zsasz is not on the table as previously explained. He does have one Audacity issued to him though, and the Infiltrate op has hidden, of course. Now she has deployed right next to a light, which is obviously kind of dangerous, but she's put herself far enough back that they can't see her at the angle. Currently she would have to be closer to this edge here, so she's fine where she is as of yet. She has Audacity, Bane has Audacity, Bird has Audacity, and as does the malicious soldier at the end there. For organised crime, Alexandra does down here, and remember she creates a little Inspire bubble as well. Black Mask over here with Audacity, the thug with the machine gun, and Zsasz, as previously stated. There is one objective card being played. It's a phase 2 by organised crime. It is recovering the juice, and it's being played on Zsasz, which might be not possible because he's not on the table. Not 100% sure, it doesn't specify, but organised crime kind of need all the help they can get with their objective deck, so we're counting it. This is on Zsasz. So if Zsasz reveals an enemy suspect marker and is still in the gaming area by the end of the turn, it scores for 3. So the Soldiers of Fortune crew did not pass. They activated the mercenary that's just holding a hatchet. Pretty cheap and cheerful as far as Soldier of Fortune thugs go. He moved up 10 inches and has put down a suspect marker. He didn't go his full 10 because he doesn't want to be seen by the corner there. Anyone over there wants to shoot him, they're going to have to move up. I think he has a bulletproof vest as well. Either way though, during his turn, and this is related to that event marker that's appeared there all of a sudden, Free for All was put in play. You don't really need to put down a marker for it. It's just for reference's sake. That's the direct center of the map right there. So by the end of the round, the Soldiers of Fortune need to have more models within 4 of it than organised crime do. I did forget to mention during the look over of the Soldiers of Fortune crew, but for relevance for some of their objective cards, every single person in the crew has Veteran. Organised Crime's first activation was the Black Mask Thug doing his best Vega impersonation from Street Fighter. No Audacity, but next to his boss, he moved up and used that free Inspired Manipulate to put down a suspect marker right there. No sign of Zsasz just yet. Soldiers of Fortune used one of their passes, so it was right back to Organised Crime, and the Black Mask Thug 4, the one wielding the sledgehammer in a very funny pose, activated, basically the same move, moved up, used a free Inspired Manipulate given by Alexandra, because she's Black Mask Lieutenant, to put down a suspect marker right there as well. Did not get within 4 inches of the marker, for the record. And they're playing the waiting game. Soldiers of Fortune expended their last pass, so right back to Organised Crime again. Black Mask Thug 3, the one with the pistol activated next to Alexandra there. No Audacity either. He moved up. He's outside of 2 of their spawn. the inch spawn, and outside of 4 there, so he has also put down a suspect marker. So got a lot to cover here for the Soldiers of Fortune being forced to finally activate. They went with Mercenary 2, no Audacity, but just within 8 of Bane down there. So he moved up and put down a suspect marker, which is simple enough. He also put into play in his turn a global offensive, which isn't really related to that. Have more friendly models with the veteran trait and played in there are enemy suspect markers, which will score for 3 unless the organised crime crew can get down at least 6 markers this turn, which they're doing okay so far. They've got 3, but turn 1's probably the best turn to grab that. But Shadowed Nightmare Victor Zsasz decided that's the suspect marker for me, so he gets placed within 8, and then all henchmen within 6, and it doesn't say it requires line of sight, which is a bit weird, but it doesn't say it does. Suffer enervating 1. So he popped himself behind that wall over there, which is within 8, and these 2 henchmen, the mercenary and the militia soldier, were within 6. So they've got enervating 1, and he does have Audacity. So he can act at some point now, maybe right now, although he would be then subject to getting shot. Let's see. Well, it wasn't Zsasz that activated, it was Black Mask himself. Now originally he wanted to move up his full 8, although he did eventually move more like 7 or 6.5, because moving 8 put that mercenary within 8, so he could have fired his guns at him. Moving and shooting though means he'd only be rolling 2 dice, and he has a bulletproof vest, so he'd only be rolling 1. So as good as Black Mask guns are, it seems like a waste when he has limited ammo. So instead he pulled back just a little bit to have someone within protect me range, and put down a suspect marker instead. A little bit of a lackluster turn, but working towards stuff. Bird activated for the Soldiers of Fortune with Audacity, and he used as a special action military tradition, so those with veteran trait within 8 of him can immediately move 2 inches. The militia guy moved forward a couple of bits, trying to bait out Zsasz essentially, and this mercenary soldier moved back a couple of inches just to try and get him to relative safety. Bird then ran up 10 inches. His only ranged option is a smoke grenade, which he doesn't want to use because it might obscure people who could get otherwise shot, depending on how things work out. And he's too close to another suspect marker to put down another one, so he's just going to sit on his tactical action, which is a waste, but he wants to move up. He has a bulletproof vest, so he's relatively safe from getting one shot. We'll see how it goes. So the Black Mask Thug with the very dangerous sniper rifle, especially when it has a silencer activated. However, there wasn't any good places on their side of the table to really get a sniper's nest, which was on purpose by the Soldiers of Fortune giving them that side. So he activated without Audacity. He just moved up and he's kind of amongst friends here, just trying to get into position for next turn, because if he can probably do some decent damage to Bane if he gets a shot off. And he is still surrounded by the 2 people who haven't activated for organised crime yet. The Alexandra, blanked on her name there, and the Black Mask Thug over there. They both have very good guns and they both have Audacity, so it is still dangerous for the Soldiers of Fortune to move in. Well, Zsasz might be kicking himself for not activating earlier, because he could have maybe saved someone's life. The militia soldier activated. He had Audacity incidentally. Was going to give it to the other one. In hindsight, did the right thing by not, because he doesn't even have a special action or anything like that to take advantage of it. But he moved up his 5 single shot blood carbine has assault, so he can move and fire it without losing any dice. He just has -1 to hit, so it becomes 3+ on the strength die, and because of his target having defense 3, 4+ on the normal dice, and he rolled really well. They were all successes for a total of 5 blood, meaning that the Vega impersonator is dead. He is out of there already. Scoring for the Soldiers of Fortune, 1 point. Dirty job, that's actually their first scored card, the other ones are just in play. But you'll notice that event marker there. A pinched mobster card was put into play. It seems like you can still do this even though the target was murdered, because they still took damage. When a friendly model takes damage from an attack, place an event marker in contact with it. Anyone can manipulate it to move it 4. Once it's in the organised crimes deployment zone, it scores for 3. Black Mask Thug 7 activated, moved up to that event marker from Pinched Mobster and used his free manipulate from his boss right there in order to move it back 4 inches. It's not in their deployment zone yet. It would need to get manipulated one more time. He used his own tactical action to shoot his gun. His gun is also assault and double blood. I think he has a red dot as well. Does he? Let's double check. He did have a red dot, so potentially there could have been more damage because he didn't re-roll one. It didn't matter though. He got the strength die through and one other on the militia henchman. 4 blood in total, which is exactly how much health he has. He's a 4/4 model. That's its downside compared to having a decent enough gun. So that's a kill right there. No cards to score on it or anything like that. Didn't have a message job card ready to play, but did remove a threat. Well, it was time for the man himself, Bane, to activate, although he can't really do much in turn 1. He charged forwards his 10 inches. He's much larger than the wall, so didn't decide to make that and give him difficult terrain, whatever it's called. Impaired movement, that's the one. But he's just where he is there. He can't do anything else this turn. He has 4 Venom doses, so I haven't been mentioning him using Venom because he has enough for every turn, so of course he's using them. He has Venom and Rage as well, which means he ignores the first 2 damage he takes. He's huge, so he ignores 2 stun if that's a problem. And he's desensitized, so he can take stun damage for days and not worry about getting knocked out ever. So even though Alexandra could now just riddle him with bullets, it puts him in a position to just pick and choose who he wants to smash next turn, and that's where he wants to be. So second last turn for Organised Crime was Victor Zsasz. He decided to come out and play, and kind of like Bane, it feels a little bit lackluster if he's not murdering someone on his turn. But in Zaz's case, it's so he could meet the criteria for recovering the juice, which is worth 3 victory points, so it's definitely worth doing. He just came out, suffered impaired movement to jump over the 2 walls there, it doesn't matter, he has 10 in total, and revealed the suspect marker that had been there. Couldn't quite get into base to base with the mercenary as well, but he's just kind of hiding there behind the half wall. As long as he lives till the end of the turn, which he definitely will, because even if max damage is done by her, it wouldn't kill him, he will score recovering the juice, and that was worth it. So last up for Organised Crime in Battle Round 1 was Alexandra. She opted to stay still and shoot her rocket launcher at Bane to see how he likes that. Now at some point along the line, I don't remember if this has been covered in a video, but the aim rule has been redefined. It no longer stops you moving and firing, it just means if you choose not to move, you get +1 to your chance to hit. Her bionic eye gives her +1 to hit, and she's an expert marksman for +1 to hit. So more or less, as long as she didn't roll a 1, it was hit. So she shot her triple blood rocket launcher, kaboom, or that way if you prefer her as a question mark, either way, it hit Bane and the mercenary there for 3 blood. However, Bane, because of his Venom and Rage, that's going to come down to 1, but yeah, he's taken 3. Last activation for the entire turn was the Infiltrate op. She moved to the edge of the building, used her special action to hack that suspect marker right up next to her, which just barely puts it within 8 of the 8-inch deployment zone, i.e. 16 inches from the edge down here, scoring, which is the card left down there, scoring Confusion for 2. We're using her backpack to remove the suspect marker, so she still had a tactical action, and she used it to shoot the sniper here, got him for 3, her weapons assault. Does she have a red dot as well? Forgotten already. I think she does. Either way, got him for 3 bullets, so that is 3 blood damage done to him, nothing triggering on that, and with that we can go to scoring for the first round. So there in Battle Round 1 we have a lot of cards to cover. Pinched Mobster stays in play for Organised Crime, that event marker over there could get moved into deployment next turn. All it will take is 1 person to examine it. They're recovering the juice, scores for 3 because Victor Zsasz met the criteria, so that's a good score there. And they're scoring a phase 4 for having more suspect markers than the enemy. They've got to stick to the plan, a classic, for another 2, so they gained 5 there. The Soldiers of Fortune, their 2 cards in play. Global Offensive does score despite them losing the militia member. They have 5 models with veteran on the table, and there is, I believe, 1, 2, 3, there's 4 or 3 Organised Crime suspect markers, so that scores for 3. There are free-for-all scores. Bane, Infiltrate op, and that Mercenary are the only ones within 4 of the marker, so that scores for 2. And this is a card we've talked about before. It's not particularly fair in my opinion. Ground War, it's the phase 4. You have at least 2 friendly models not suffering KO within 4 of the same scenery element that's within 8 of the deployment zone, or inside the enemy's deployment zone, which this building is. And you're supposed to have these mats for Batman kind of stacked with a load of buildings that are quite large. Makes this card way too easy to score for how much it's worth, but hey, it's an official card, so it scored. So they didn't do well during the round, which is a little bit unlike Soldiers of Fortune, but they scored a bunch at the end there. And here we are at the top of turn 2, so we can take a look at the board state. The Organised Crime crew have taken first activation, do still have a numbers advantage of 1 for this round. There is a couple of cards being put into play. A phase 1 by the Soldiers of Fortune crew, it's Die Hard. There's no great target, well Bane would be a great target, but you can't put it on your boss. There's no other great target for this that isn't safe. It's being put on Infiltrate op because her defense 5 will hopefully save her from any gunfire, because right now she is illuminated, so our Master of Stealth is doing nothing. The Organised Crime crew are playing another Recovering the Juice. The target for this one is this gentleman right here with the pistol. Whether or not he actually does anything, we'll see, because there isn't that many Soldiers of Fortune suspect markers. The only one is that one right down there. So that's the only other cards. The Pinched Mobster is still in play. Organised Crime going first. Take a look who has Audacity, Bane, Infiltrate op, Bird, and who else does for the Soldiers of Fortune? Oh, they're missing a marker. That's right, they're missing a marker. I guess because he's probably going to get murdered by Zsasz, it'll be him there that gets it then. For the Organised Crime crew, guy with a sledgehammer, Black Mask himself, Black Mask Thug 7, and Zsasz. So I can't quite believe how the first activation of Battle Round 2 went. For organised crime, the Black Mask with Thug with the sniper activated because he figured he's going to go down this turn anyway, so he might as well try, and he went for a full Hail Mary, shooting at the illuminated infiltrate op. There's the roll right there. So not only did he hit with the normal attack die plus his strength die, where the normal strength die is just a 2+, but the other die needed a 5+. It's also a crit, which means it bleed 2 procced 2. Not that it needed to. So the poor defense 5 infiltrate op here has 6 HP, so the 2 base hits getting through is enough to kill her, let alone the 2 extra blood from the crit. So she's dead, which I cannot quite believe. She went. That was so lucky. That means that Die Hard is just discarded because it can't score for Soldiers of Fortune. It doesn't score any cards for organised crime, but wow, it removes a massive utility piece. Not even just a threat, a utility piece. Well, with their numbers dwindling at a quite frankly shocking rate, the Soldiers of Fortune activated Baird, and he moved his 10 inches into base to base with this Black Mask Thug with the gun here. Must admit, forgot that this Black Mask Thug was so fragile. He's got a really good gun, but he's only a 4/4 miniature. Bird efforted twice, mostly for reasons related to objectives. He didn't effort at all because, again, he's a 4/4 miniature, so, and it's a blood stun coming in him. Bird managed to do 5 blood, 5 stun, removing him from the board and scoring for doing those 2 efforts. A search and destroy. An enemy model suffers at least 2 hits during an attack action where the friendly model performed at least 2 efforts. So he got something out of it and removed someone who hadn't activated yet. Black Mask activated next, however. First, upon the murder that Bird just committed, there was a counterplay Pinched Mobster put into play again, so that puts a event icon in base to base with the model that just got removed. Again, we've already seen this once before this match, so that's in play. But what Black Mask did was he moved backwards, activated the one that was already in play, moved it into deployment, and scored the Pinched Mobster that was in play. So that's scored for 3, and now there is another one in play from the marker right in front of him. The big man himself, Bane, activated and charged past all the Black Mask Thugs, range 10, to go instead after Alexander Kusov. Now you'll notice there's no damage placed on here. That's because his attack 6 base Venom puts him at strength 2+, 2 free efforts. So in total his damage output could have been, let's see, it would have been double 8, so this could have been 16 stun. She did actually manage to get a 6 on one of her defense rolls to block 1, so it was 14 stun. Not going to bother putting that on the table. She is very unconscious, and those 2 free efforts also score another search and destroy. Well, Victor Zsasz decided it was time to just start cutting. You'll notice he's no longer where he was, but he started his turn. Oh, actually no, he wasn't in base to base, was he? So he couldn't move after his turn. Never mind. He is still right there, because I don't think he was in base to base quite. So never mind, let's just go over what he did right there, because he was going to go chase down Bird, but he couldn't do that because he had to move into base to base there. So when he's fighting a henchman, he counts as attack 5, defense 5, which is just absolutely ridiculous. He's only doing single blood with his machete, but he also has combo with it. So he had like 9 damage coming in. He efforted 3 times, the mercenary efforted twice. All said and done, he managed to block like 3 of them, still took 7 damage, is still very dead. I think the Soldiers of Fortune are ahead in points, but wow, they are dropping like flies. So we're already on the last activation of the turn for the Soldiers of Fortune. There's 3 of them left. The mercenary who was behind Bane and got hit by the rocket last turn came forwards 10 inches into base to base with the sniper. They efforted twice each because they couldn't do more than that because they both have some blood damage, 3 blood damage. And he was using his double blood handy heavy axe, and this is the roll, no joke. That is the roll right there, 4 6s. Now 2 of them did actually get blocked, but that's still 4 blood. Would have knocked him down, but it doesn't matter because 4 blood on top of what he had from turn 1 is enough that the sniper is dead. He put into play another free-for-all, that's why I was holding on to it, forgot to mention that. There is no point even tracking it, it will not score, it was to get out of hand. So unfortunately with Alexandra knocked out, it means that the thug down here who needed to move and remove a suspect marker can't because he doesn't have an Inspire. So instead the Black Mask Thug with the sledgehammer did that because he did have Audacity. And in doing that and removing that suspect marker that had been put in front of him, paying tribute is being put into play when a friendly model reveals an enemy suspect marker, so he has to go place another suspect marker, a friendly one, within 4 of Black Mask to score for 2. Now, there is no more activations left for the Soldiers of Fortune. All that is left is him right there. He's probably just going to shoot for lack of anything better because he doesn't have Audacity, so we're back in a second with the results of that. Yep, well, he blasted his pistol into the mercenary there, losing the strength die to his bulletproof vest, still getting 2 of the 3 potential shots through, for 2 blood, 2 stun. He is gone, and it's about sending a message. Scoring message job for 2 points just for killing an enemy, essentially. So that has scored, and it also means the Soldiers of Fortune crew is reduced to just Bane and Bird at the end of turn 2. That is incredible. So at the end of turn 2, there's so few models left on the table. I'm not sure we've had this to this degree, especially not for the Soldiers of Fortune. They're usually a lot stronger than this, but Black Mask does have access to, or his thugs anyway, have access to a bunch of guns that are dangerous in the right hands. So yeah, there's 2 of them left on the table. Also, I know it's a bit odd to mention this in the middle of a video rather than at the start or at the end, but it's mid-recording that this became known to me. The bat rep from last week, I don't know what went wrong. It was either my rendering settings during editing I messed something up, or YouTube was just having a weird day, and as a result only standard definition is available, not high definition. I no longer have the source files. I can't re-edit the video and render it and upload it again, so it's that or nothing. So it's just going to stay up, but yeah, it sucks. Sorry about that. It's only available in standard definition. I hate that. It annoys me that I didn't catch it, but hopefully it won't happen again. I shall try and keep a closer eye. All the other videos uploaded are fine. Check them. They're all fine. It's just that one video for whatever reason. So, sorry about that. Anyway, the recount phase. Paying tribute, pinched mobster, stay in play. For organised crime, recovering the juice does not score. It's discarded. And they do score another stick to the plan though, for another 2 victory points. And the Soldiers of Fortune, they're scoring another ground war because it's a very unfair and easy to score card. Bird and Bane are both within 8 of the Batmobile, which counts. So that scores for 3. So top of turn 3, the penultimate round. The back end of this game is going to go so fast. 10 guesses who's got Audacity for Soldiers of Fortune. Oh, the only 2 survivors? Yep, that's right. There is 5 people left alive in the Black Mask crew, so the one who is not getting Audacity is Man with Pistol down there. Everyone else has Audacity. Did forget to cover Alexandra's wake up check. She has woken up, so she has Audacity given to her. There's one phase 2 being played. It's recovering the juice. Currently it's not scoreable because there's no Soldier of Fortune suspect markers on the table, but it is being played on Mr. Sledgehammer right there, just to see if he can do anything with it. The Bane crew, sorry, Soldier of Fortune crew rather, that's old school calling them the Bane crew. Soldier of Fortune crew have first activation this turn. They also have a bunch of passes again. Let's see what they do. Well, Bane got the turn started and he immediately re-knocked out Alexandra, just pummeled her into the floor, did not bother putting markers down. Let's just say he did more than 1 stun and be good with that. He then moved his 10 inches around the Batmobile. He is coming for Black Mask. He wants to knock him out in the final turn, basically. His turn wasn't entirely worthless though. He did put into play Cyber Attack, finally drew a card that usually is better earlier on. Picked those 2 suspect markers there, rolled a 1, well, rolled a 2 down to a 1. So 3 activations from now that will score if both those suspect markers are still there. Well, there's no escaping the Bane when you move the same speed as, slower than him. So Black Mask accepts that that's going to happen, moved and manipulated the event marker into his deployment zone, scoring the other pinched mobster that was in play for another massive 3 victory points. Didn't do anything else with his turn. And a simple enough activation for Bird followed, just trying to score some points before they're wiped out. More well, except Bane, I don't think he can get wiped out, but he moved against the wall there and put down a suspect marker, meeting the criteria just barely for Black Ops to put down a suspect marker within 8 of an enemy model that can't draw a line of sight to either, and that fits the criteria for Zsasz. Actually, that way it might also, as the bird crow flies, fit it for him too, but either way. Well, it's all Black Mask activations now for organised crime, so this Black Mask thug down here, he's removing his own suspect marker and turning it into loot. So he's now holding on to the loot. Potential 3 victory points at the end of the game, especially if Bane's going to ignore him and just go for Black Mask. So that's him done. Alexandra's knocked out, so it's down to Zsasz and the Sledgehammer guy. So Sledgehammer guy creeped round, he's hiding behind Bane, just hoping Bane doesn't turn around and see him. He put down a suspect marker and that met the second part of the criteria to score the paying tribute that was played on him last turn, so that has scored for 2. So Zsasz took advantage of not being able to be seen by Bird, who just used that to his advantage to score Black Ops, came around and attacked him, meaning his sneak attack proc, so Bird couldn't use any efforts. Zsasz has +2 attack markers, which I forgot to mark from his kill the previous turn, and he is also getting another 2 for 1 resource point for playing Pain and Money, Black Mask's card, as a resource. Place 1 blood marker on the active friendly model. He gains 2 attack markers. Forgot to add the blood, but that will be done off camera in a second. Needless to say, he went hog wild with his combo knives and was getting 4 extra dice. Didn't do that much damage, honestly, considering how much extra dice he was rolling. Bird managed to block 3 hits, I think. All in all, took 5 blood. Still standing. He's got 2 health left, I think. Yeah, he's pretty tanky. But that does take us already to the end of battle round 3. Wow. At the end of the penultimate round, Alexander Kuzov has not woken up, so that's her game done. There's so many models dead that there's just no one on the field. We have cards to cover, though. The Recovering the Juice for Organised Crime does not score. It's gone. They do, however, score their third and final Stick to the Plan for having Suspect Marker Superiority for 2, but that is somewhat countered by Cyber Attack. It actually scored at the end of Zaz's turn, but just doing this now, so it also scored for 2. So with that, into the final turn. Dawn of the final day, and this is probably going to be a real quick turn. Everyone who's conscious on the table has Audacity, of course. The Soldiers of Fortune have first activation, and there's one phase 1 card being played, the Die Hard for Organised Crime, and it's being played on this gentleman right here, which means he's now worth 5 victory points because he's holding the loot. So will Bane go after him and probably, I'm like 99% sure, deny 5 points, or are Organised Crime already so far ahead that he just wants to smack Black Mask upside the head? That's a tough choice that they're going to have to make in a second. Well, I guess this is the Bane that hasn't had his brain entirely rotted by Venom, and he wanted to try to get some last minute points and deny that massive 5. He went after and broke the Black Mask Thug over here. 12 stun, very unconscious, no turn, grabbed the loot, so that is 5 victory points denied, because yeah, I think the only person with a gun left on the table is Black Mask, and he can't kill Bane. He's got too much health left, he's got 13 health left. And also he does score a point. They must know pain, and that Thug certainly knows the meaning of pain now. So there isn't really any other way for the survivors of the Organised Crime to set up and score any cards, so all that it really came down to was denial of points, potential points. Black Mask activated, shot his guns into Bird's back, losing the strength die for his bulletproof vest, getting 2 hits through. With the blood damage that Zaz did, Bird is out of there. Bane is the last man standing, no activations left for them. There is that Thug there, and Zaz himself. There's no need to put down suspect markers or anything like that, so yeah, we're done. So before we go to the score piles, just to make this official, Die Hard obviously did not score because the person that was played on was knocked into oblivion, and the loot he was holding was stolen by Bane, so that's obviously also discarded. No other phase 4s, so the score piles are as they were. Let's see if Bane made the right decision. Alright, let's see the final scores. This is the Soldier of Fortune pile, this is the Organised Crime pile. Start with Soldiers of Fortune. So that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23. Bit low for Soldiers of Fortune, honestly. So 23 plays 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. They did still comfortably take a win. Although, if you were to take out those 2 Ground Wars, because they are such a bad card, that would be 6 less. So actually, if you did that, Organised Crime would win. And they definitely won the battle on the battlefield. Bane last man standing, the guns would take him down eventually, no matter how hopped up on Venom he is. And maybe Zaz's knives if he bleeds him enough. So they lost on the table, but at the end of the day they won with points. And that's all that matters, really. Apologies again for the video last week only being in standard definition. I render using the same settings every week, so I can only assume something went wrong on the YouTube side and I didn't spot it, so apologies again for that. I'll be double, triple, quadruple checking this one to make sure it's in high def like it's supposed to be. But anyway, if you want to support what we do here and encourage more videos, please do consider pressing the thanks button, becoming a channel member, or checking out the Patreon that supports both the work we do here at the Tabletop channel and also video game streams 6 nights a week. Thank you very much for watching either way though, hope you enjoyed, and see you again for another one. Until then, ta-ta for now.